Hi there, my name is Soraya Myers and I wanted to share my garden with you today. This is our second garden that we built in North Texas on this property. The first one we were not happy with. It was too small and it was on an angle, so we decided to level it and rebuild. This kind of happened during COVID. My husband and I decided to just sit around and watch a bunch of videos so we could really plan out our garden, get some ideas from other YouTubers, which we did. Roots of Refuge being probably the main one we enjoyed watching, and there were a few others. I can't remember the guy's name with the wicking tubs, but we decided to do some wicking tubs. We raised the height of our beds, and we put in cattle panels for vertical growing without having to increase our footprint as much as we probably would have if we hadn't done that. We did doubles of the size of the garden though. So let me share with you my garden and let me know what you think. So we just planted the garden. Everything is seedlings. This retaining wall here is what we ended up having to add to level the property, or rather the garden. I was not crazy about these steps at first, but now I really, really like them. Obviously, the outside of the garden is very unfinished. I've got some plans for that, possibly blackberries and blueberries, some climbing roses. On this side over here, I have a rose bed with knockout roses and mint growing. So here we go. We ended up putting in 2 gates because we needed 1 gate to access with wheelbarrows, so that's back there. So this M-shaped bed was the original garden. These are not the original beds, but this was the space in which we had the original garden, and it ended right here. We doubled the size by adding these 20-foot by 4-foot beds on this side, and then we fenced in the whole area to keep out critters. I'm sure you're noticing all the cattle panels. This is a Roots and Refuge idea that we just thought was ingenious, a very inexpensive way to put in a sturdy trellis system while adding to the beauty of the garden. I just keep picturing these full of fruit and greenery, looking like beautiful green arbors. I cannot wait. I hope it turns out the way I'm hoping. Anyway, first bed here, we have some onions and lettuces. I did plant pollinator attractants along the edge of all the beds. These are, let's see, what do I have? I have verbena, I have marigolds, different marigolds, African marigolds, French marigolds, and zinnias. Over here, these are San Marzanos. So I have over 50 San Marzanos that I planted from seed in my growing space in my attic. My husband and I went to Italy and we fell in love with the miraculous San Marzano tomato. I think it's probably the best tasting tomato I've ever had. We jarred over, this was 2 years ago we went to Italy. We came back, we immediately planted that next season, and I think we canned over 50 jars of San Marzanos, enjoyed them for a year, and I think we finally ran out. So this year I've planted over 50 San Marzanos. I've got probably 10 Amish pace and then some cherry tomatoes called chocolate sprinkles. I tend to do the same 3 every year, which I know I need to branch out, so this year I am branching out a little bit. Here I've got cucumbers. These are my experimental tomatoes that I've not done before. Tomato 444, Sweet 100, Black Creme. I have done Big Boy and Celebrity before, but I'm repeating. Boxcar Willie and Arkansas Traveler. So we'll see how those do and if we enjoy them as much as we do the other 3. This is my pepper bed. I've got bell peppers, I've got habaneros, jalapenos, serranos, pepperoncinis, banana peppers, and then a few, I think I've got cayenne, bird's eye chili. This is Santa Fe Grande. Most of these are from the big box store, pure seedlings. And I think these are English cucumbers, and those are pickling cucumbers on that trellis. So we have 2 trellises here. And these are all San Marzanos. I will plant something down the center. That's one thing I like about the 4-foot beds is it allows you 3 rows of planting rather than 2 on the 3-foot beds. I know people love the 3-foot beds because you can reach across, but for me, I'd rather have more planting space. These panels, we originally hadn't planned to put them between the beds and the fences, but we kind of ran out of space again. So we decided, let's just put some and make a walkway. I'm gonna train these San Marzano tomatoes. They're indeterminate, they grow about 10 feet. We've done them before on trellis with like the strings, where you tie the strings to the top of the trellis and you train them up. You do some heavy pruning. I'm gonna incorporate basically that same technique, but with these panels, and I will tie them up and we'll see how that goes. This is my first time, so we'll see. I've got some lettuce here, more tomatoes, and then over here we've got okra that I planted from seed. There they are. They're really little. They usually kind of hang out for a while, and then when it gets hot they take off. So look at the size of this marigold. Isn't that beautiful? I just love how it adds to the garden. These are squash, zucchini squash, bush type. And these, I love to use the tomato cages, by the way. I know you're probably like, why are you putting tomato cages there? But it just kind of keeps everything together and keeps it from sprawling. Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you about my beans. So, first time to try these. These are going to be asparagus beans on this cattle panel growing up. And they are, I've got 3 different varieties. I've got the red, the green, and the white asparagus beans, sometimes called long beans. Over here I have regular green beans. On this panel I have lima beans. And on this panel I have a climbing zucchini. And on this panel going over the walkway I have Malabar spinach. And then we have another panel over here with San Marzanos that are going to grow up. Oh, and I forgot to mention, one of these panels has cantaloupe, which one of the YouTubers, what they did it on a panel like this, and they just put pantyhose hammocks to support the fruit as they got bigger. Okay, let's see, a couple other things. I've got my little bee habitat over here. I put in these little watering stations for the bees, solitary bees, mason bees, and leafcutter bees. And I just did these little solar panel off Amazon. I think they were $15. These, I just put some clay. The bees love the clay to plug up their holes after they lay their babies. Make sure you put rocks, by the way, that they can sit on, because they won't land if they can't sit. Here's another one, some more clay pots, and this is when I didn't know what I was doing. I put this out and I didn't face it in the right direction. They really need sun. And I had this kind of in the shade, but I managed to still get a couple bees there to lay. There's one here and one here from last year. So this year I'm hoping that I'll get more to put their little babies in there. From what I've read, solitary bees, they really don't travel that far away from their nests, usually about 300 yards. So once you get them in your garden, they'll usually stay in your garden if you make it comfortable for them. And the last thing over here are my wicking tubs that I got from another YouTuber. I cannot remember his name, but I'll post a link. These are wicking tubes with floaters. These all need water because see how they're sunk down? They should be between these 2 tapes, but they're not. I need to water them. I love this idea. You really don't have to water these more than every week or 2. And it's just a great way to be able to have your tropical trees where you can move them when it gets freezing. Maybe put them in a greenhouse or in your garage. This is lime, kumquat, and Myers lemon tree. Future plans for our garden is to add a greenhouse to the back over here where you can see all this building material. I don't know if you can see, but yeah, it's kind of an eyesore. This is from when we built our house. I have a hard time throwing things away. So that's what ends up happening. We'll have to move all that stuff when we decide to put the greenhouse in. We're just in the process of researching the best, most cost-effective, without sacrificing our checklist on what we want for the greenhouse. So that's it for now. I'll keep you updated as this garden matures and put in more videos. I have a few other projects for the garden. I'll post videos for those. And if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. Thank you. See you soon. Bye.